Oh, is it me you're looking for? Maybe. Wrap up the string. Oh, God. Okay. And then I'm just going to pop on over there and grab this. Gonna pop up the chat. Wait a minute. Live chat. All right. Doing it live. 6:42 a.m. on May 28th. Got some new little cuts on my hands. Those are fun. And don't have a big castle on the bench. We've just got a bunch of little pieces of plastic. And that's because at this current moment, the castle is a solid piece of black. So it's really kind of hard to see anything on it. So I'm probably going to finish dealing with this stuff this morning. Once again, while waiting on that to get to a stage where I can do anything with it because it was wet. I had to prime it. Primed it yesterday, but very excited because that means that today I'm going to have a good amount of progress made, most likely, being able to actually do some work on it. But with that said, I spent a little bit of time yesterday while I was maybe an hour or so working on these Flames of Orion mechs that I had been working on. This little guy specifically has still not been touched, but he is at a pretty little basic phase. I'm pretty happy with how he's turned out so far. Pretty fun. Same thing with this little guy. I'm definitely excited to see him turn into a little walking trash can. Needs some legs down from the knees. And then this one was the one that I've been working with the most as of last night. Trying to get a lot of little details in there. And I'm pretty pleased so far. I really like the back. I'm pretty much going to be taking... I've got these two... They have a bunch of cables and a bunch of hoses hanging out of them. And I wanted them to kind of look as though... Let me make sure I can... There we go. Can you see the hoses? Yeah, you can see the hoses. Yeah, so pretty much I wanted it to look like this one. A large part of the back was possibly damaged, and now there's parts like that are holding parts of it like together. So that should I think be what is deduced whenever I'm done. That or they are two like kind of sub arms, which I've always loved that. If you want me to really like your robot, give it sub arms. I love them. That's just any kind of like set of separate smaller arms. Like I've never really like or sub assembly arms. Yeah, they're I guess that would be any kind of small like pseudo arms that are not actual for like for actually doing something. They would be little manipulators. That would be another name, manipulator. Servo, yeah, little sub arm or a manipulator. Pseudo arm, that would be another one. But yeah, so I'm pretty much going to be working on those this morning. Just kind of feeling my vibe. I'm also still really sleepy. I know that's a shock. You never hear it on this. We never talk about the need for sleep. Here this morning. This morning or mornings, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today. Yeah, my desk looks a little bit crazier maybe than it has in a bit, which is kind of fun. Kind of fun for me. But yeah, so I'm probably going to start just getting into it. I was looking for, there is a spot that essentially has no filler, right? Where are you at? Right there. I need to fill that in. The waist, essentially. Up here, that's where the arm points are going to be. I'm still also very much trying to decide. I think it just needs big fucking bulky legs. I think that's what it needs. And I've had such an interesting trying to figure out where the legs should go in relation with the rest of the body. Yeah, no, I'm really digging working on these though. I've been thinking, I was leaning towards a larger knee. That's too big though. And that's too big for even, like that's even bigger than an atlas foot. Yeah, so let's scooch about here-ish. Because I feel like that's right where my hands are. Yeah, this is good. So, as far as the rest of the pieces here, I mean, this is really just, that's a backpack, lots of backpacks. He needs legs though, and we need them to be pretty beefy. He's a pretty beef boy, big beef boy. And they need to extend it far enough out to the sides, so it's almost like we're looking for something to extend that. Like flat, something flat. And again, yeah, I'm still on this jam where I'm just only building it with this stuff. These might be it, because they are about the same size, but they are smaller. Yep, that might be it. We might be using these as our legs. Maybe. I'm feeling pretty good about those. Pretty big knees. Yep, I think that's it. I think we've found our legs. I think they're going to be these two autocannons. These are autocannons, right? Yeah. Yeah. Which another little bit of, oh hey, autocannons. What are you doing with those? Same thing with the, this would be the ammo hopper from the autocannons. Those are going to be the back of the knee. So the best explanation or like showcase of them, there we go. So right here on the legs and behind, that's where we see similar kind of shapes. These are a little bit bigger, but when I'm only going to be building out of what I got in here, I'm going to work with whatever I got, baby. So, yeah, they're going to be the knees. They're the bee's knees. But in order to get them knees, we got to cut to them. So, I am going to grab that other knife. That's not a knife, this is. Actually, I've been waiting to do that bit. That's not a knife, this is. I have a knife that I just keep on the leg of my desk, just because I thought it would be a funny bit. And it wasn't worth it. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for the time where I would say that's not a knife, this is. And it would come. Alright, I don't know where my other knife is. That big one. big beefy boy. I really let it just break the drill bit. Come on. Where's my knife? Also, I like that there's just so many knives and so much trash and on my desk. It's like, where's my knife? Eric Lecqui. Good morning, all. Good morning, Eric. How are you? Hope you have been well. I'm working on building little mechs while the primer, well, it's not drying. It's still, well, technically it might be still curing. It's not been hair in my mouth 24 hours, but it's getting close. So, oh boy, it's already 6:52. Time flies. Time flies when you're just sawing little plastic, trying to keep the dream alive. Here we go. All right. I'm thinking maybe there. It helps if you make that noise, but you don't have to. It does it itself. So I realize that I'm now using the part of the blade that I've been like, oh yeah, I'm not going to use that part because it's broken. That's why you're hearing that crinkle noise. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Why was there somebody say crinkle? I got Chris Crinkle down there. Hey, you guys heard about that new Chris Crinkle? Crisp Crinkle? Crisp Crinkle? That's a good name. Y'all got that new Crisp Crinkle album? That'd be Margot's, one of Margot's, like alter egos. Crisp Crinkle. I like that. At one point in time, I worked in a music store at around, this would have been Rick Ruffles. That's good. Thanks for the tip about dipping rattle cans in hot tap water. Hadn't heard that before. Oh yeah, no problem. I did that yesterday and it was awesome. Man, every time I've used spray paint now, it's been awesome since I found out about that. And I also love that. Monument Hobbies, like, they have that on the side of their can. Like, hey, tips and tricks. Here's how to use a spray can bottle. Like, I had never heard about that until Johnny. But that's like actually on their can of like, hey, tips and tricks, which is really cool. Because I've never seen that on a single other spray can paint, like spray paint can. Rick Ruffles. Crisp Crinkle. Man. Krispy Kreme. I think that was a rapper, actually. Man, I was talking about something. I'm really tired today. But, man. Would have had something to do with Crisp Crinkle. That's fun. That is a fun name. Yeah, nothing worse than giving a surprise. Frosted texture cheemies. That is the worst. I think, yeah, that is the number one reason that I bought an airbrush and all that jazz was I got so fed up with priming that I was like, never again. I'm going to prime in my house where I can control every aspect of it, because otherwise I might destroy countless hours of work. Which that was specifically Outguard. There was a event years ago called Outguard that was one of the very first like 28 events, really. But But I made models to send to Helsinki. And as soon as I primed them, man, they were ruined. It sucked. But I've got parts of their bodies. I don't know. I still have the models somewhere around here. Actually, yeah, they're the ones that you've seen in here. One of them was this big guy. But he was holding a Outguard. Was supposed to be a Imperial world that had been separated from Imperium for so long that the idea of the Imperium was just like a myth. So they were going. It was going to be like just like a feudal world that at one point had technology, but they don't understand any bit of it now. Like if you have a laser gun, you're a wizard. For however long the laser gun works, you're a wizard, dude. That kind of stuff. And I think that's really fun. But I had made 2 models. I like to do things in 3s. But it's kind of dark. But I made 2 models, and this one was the largest one that was carrying a club that had a bunch of lasgun packs jammed into it. So, and then like part of the tree was like clearly exploded, like where it had like smacked something with a lasgun pack and it exploded, blew the tree chunk like apart. But yeah, and then in the other one was they were called my birdmen, and they all had little feathers like glued to their arms. But the idea was that they were deep, like miners, kind of like they go through like the ruins of stuff, and they had stumbled upon something depicting the 2-headed eagle of the Imperium. And they began to start worshiping this great 2-headed bird. So hence putting feathers on their arms and whatnot. And then the other one, because there were 2, the other one was really skinny and like emaciated, but it had another head, like a skull, like a severed head strapped to its head, like facing the path, like, on this side. That way it's looking this way, and it's looking, wherever it looks. Just because that's the whole thing with the Imperial Eagle is, blind eye to the past, eye open to the future. That's why one of the eyes is closed. It's supposed to represent Mars, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the Imperium of Man as well. But I think mainly it's the blind eye to the past. Very Janus. It's a reference to Janus, the 2-headed god, Greek god. So the other one would strap a severed head to the side of its head. And that was the idea of the birdman. The third, because I always like to do things in 3, the third is inside that box on the first one's back. And they were absolutely based off of my cats, as I do most things. But yeah, this was Teo, and then the Margot character lived in this backpack. And then Oliver was the one that had the 2 heads and a stick. I'll find him at some point. But yeah, as soon as I put primer on those guys, and you can still see the primer that fucking killed them. And I think I still have it right over here. Yep. Skeleton bone, BB. Maybe. I might have thrown that away, actually. Either it's right there. That might be it. I think that might be it, because I think I kept it because I was just like, what the fuck? Why am I going to keep that? I just ruined 2 models. And I was like, because I don't like throwing away paint. That's it. I'm really hoping this is not poison ivy. I think it's just a bug bite. A lot to cover there. With that said, I think it's time I get back to those leggies. All right. So these don't look like legs. And that's that. All right. So these don't look like legs. On to the next bit. No. Yeah, I'm thinking those are going to be good. And the reason that possum, bow, yeah, legs. So they're going to look like legs. We just got to. I've learned that often you can get rid of the rattle can frost from a mini by coating it in olive oil and letting it sit. What? That's the craziest shit I've ever heard, Eric. I don't even know. I don't even know how to begin to think, how does that work? That's like some straight, there's some science on that shit, but I don't understand that. What can the olive oil be doing? Olive oil. Yeah, I saw it somewhere. It somehow unbinds the paint. That's fucking wild. I've never heard of that. But I will try that. I will try that on some, I'll try that on those. But yeah, that's awesome because that absolutely just like, yep, it's dead. That killed that killed that mini. It's got a weird kind of frosting. It's got frosted tips, permanent frosted tips. Frosted tips for my whole life. My life is frosted tips. I feel like that's actually just like a statement of like a beach bum from like the 90s. Maybe. That seems right. My life is frosted tips. Yep, that's gonna look like a leg eventually. We just gotta get there. Back to the little saw. I'm really glad it's not high-powered, actually. Or like electric. I did briefly look into getting a micro table saw, and I'm so very glad that I didn't do that because that seems like one of the most dangerous things that you could buy. I also have like a couple Dremels, so it's just like kind of, it would be very unnecessary. It's just like, okay, dude, do you really need a little mini table saw? I don't think you do. So instead I bought a hot wire cutter that I've never fucking used. But hey, look at that, us cutting away from ourselves. Also, and then immediately cutting directly towards ourselves. While bragging about, oh yeah, look at us being safe. Immediately does something very not safe. This blade goes in the blade bin. Speaking of unsafe, I'm just waiting for someone to comment on how unsafe this is. And it is until it's not. Once it gets filled up with like kitty litter and liquid, that thing's gonna be so safe. Nah, there's nothing unsafe about that. Does this look dangerous to you? Blade 2. I don't know if I ever saw Blade 2. Every now and then, though, I'm just like, do I need to watch Blade? Does that ever happen to you guys? Do you ever just like wake up and you're like, I think I need to watch Predator 2 today, or like Blade. Predator 2 is like the main one that's just like, today feels like a day I need to just call into work, maybe have a hot dog, and watch Predator 2. A shop teacher accidentally cut his fingernail clean off ripping a coffee stirrer with a micro table saw. I'm trying to think. Okay, JK. My shop teacher accidentally cut his fingernail clean off, ripping a coffee stirrer with a micro table saw. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, that sounds really fucking crazy. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, what was this lunatic doing? And also, why were they using a micro table saw? And also, okay, I had to think about the math there for a minute. I was like, I don't know if that's true. I think this is a joke. Well, beep doop boop bow. It's a good one. You got me. Man, I'm thinking, yeah. Just gotta cut those guys. Got these guys. And then we're gonna have some legs. Now, I didn't think about it initially, like just now, but I have thought about it already. Forelegs? Forelegs seems like the best choice, but it also seems like twice as much leg work. And I don't even know how to begin to think about how that would fit together, especially if I've only got X parts. I only have X parts, and I could cut them and shape them into anything I want, but I'm going to be a baby. Complain. Okay. So I'm just going to start sawing this little leggy right here. We're going to get that guy off. I've heard you're a fan of Predator too. Oh. I forgot that Eric has actually experienced firsthand me ranting about my love of Predator 2. I will die on that hill any day. Predator 2 is a great movie. It's not good. It is great though. Terrible, but great. I now I'm thinking of like that's definitely not that's not the vibe that I want attributed to me, but I can't not see that snippet. That's when you mention Harry Potter, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is the scene in is the scene in the wand store when he gets his wand, because it's just fucking with like any kind of like involvement in that world at all, you have to think about the exchange between the guy selling the wands and Harry Potter, because it's such a like nonsensical conversation that he's like I wonder could it be, and he like goes and he gives him that wand and he's just like, imagine you own a shop and a child walks in. And it's like a very famous child from like a murder trial. Would you say something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, terrible, but great"? To the kid, I don't think I would. But hey, I'm not a character, or maybe I am. Bum bum bum. Yeah, I always find that one very funny. I'm not a big Harry Potter head, so that's probably why. But and I'm joking about that now, and it's just like, well, it kind of sucks because it's like, oh, it's like if you went into a store and someone was like, well, you know, when you think about Hitler, it's just like, unfortunately, we live in a time where it's just like that actually fucking could happen. So it's a little bit funnier with Voldemort. I said his name. Now he's gonna show up in my window and kill me. Or mirror. Sorry, I don't remember the rules. I'm sorry if anyone likes Harry Potter and I'm just really upsetting you. Unless you also really, really like that scene where he buys the wand and the guy just says, terrible, but great. In which case, you're in good company. It's a fun scene. I think that guy died recently. Because I remember distinctly being like, oh shit, the guy from the wand shop. But yeah, Predator 2. Spoiler alert. If you've not seen Predator 2, it's 2025. What are you doing with your life? It's got Gary Busey. It's like prime fucking nuts Gary Busey. Like, this is Gary Busey like you've never seen him before. I don't know if that's true. I feel like the performance that Gary Busey does in Predator 2 is the same performance you've seen Gary Busey do in every Gary Busey movie. Which, speaking of Gary Busey movies, we can talk about that all day. Fucking Point Break, dude. Fuck yeah, Point Break is so good. Like, do you want to get me really pumped talking about a movie? Man, how come we don't have any like OSR stuff based on like that? I'm gonna make my own cyborg module that's just based on the movie Point Break. I say that jokingly, but I bet it would be fucking rad. That's another thing that I've thought about is like, man, there's so many. What the? Gary Busey as Gary Busey. Harvey and Nichols. Oh my goodness. Hello. Hello, daughter of mine. It is 7:13, child. It's not time for coffee. You've just come to bring me the good news? You hear me talking about Gary Busey and you wanted in on this? That was a big yawn. You must be real sleepy. Okay, I'll pick you up. You can sit with me. Only because you're so darn cute. Everybody, it's jumbo time. Watch out for that knife. Be careful. Okay. Now, for all those of you at home who are just turning in, don't tell nobody. But I got a kitty in my lap. If you tell anybody, I will find out. And I will find you. I'll say, hey, don't talk about that. It's very personal. Right, Marco? Maybe. Gary Busey. Yeah. It's definitely one of those days where I'm like, I feel like I'm just like still asleep and my brain's still just like, no. She left. Hate to see her go, but I don't want her to leave. Marco's very fluffy when she runs. Or like a little all over fluff. Just like, it's very, very, very silly. Kind of like Theodore. We often say that also when he leaves the bedroom through the little door. I hate to watch him go, but I love to watch him leave. He just squeezes through this little itty bitty door. Because it looks like he will not fit. But then you're like, I forget, you're just a lot of fluffy hair, huh? He's like, yep. Alright, legs. And I don't know how to use them. That's a pretty good little skull right there. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to save it. So I'm thinking the inside is going to be the spot that has the big hole. Which if you said you saw that coming. Bonus points? I don't know. I don't really give out bonus points. I don't give out any points. It's not a game. This is my life. Just trying. Okay. Those are fun. I'm going to use those for something. These little boops. Little missile pods. Definitely could be some missile pods. That is one of the other things that I'm trying to... Initially, I was just building these as like, oh, I'm not going to think about which mechs they are, but how do I earn points then? Well, we have a point system. That would be something fun and worthwhile to come up with. How are the points distributed, though? Well, since we don't have a point system, but if you would like to turn with me, we'll now begin to explain. This is how the point system works. It's extremely long, drawn-out explanation of reward points and stuff, but there are no points. You don't get points, but there is a point system. Shit, I got cold. My little feet got cold. I put them down. Man, what was I about to say? I don't know. Some days I feel like the chaotic energy is just like really pouring out of me. And other days I feel like it's not as much. Today it's just like I feel like I can't keep it in. But yeah. Marco Hare, get out of here. We gotta find some leggies. And I'm thinking that's the parts that I want to use, but I don't know where the knee needs to start. I'm thinking point system with no payout structure. Am I essentially just describing a Ponzi scheme or something along those lines? Yeah, actually I think that's it right there. Bam. That was not what we were... I think that's it. I think that's a good length of leg. You started saying something about wanting it first to not worry about matching the existing mech type. Man. I wonder what I was talking about. I bet it was cool. Yeah, I didn't want to match anything. I don't want it to look like something else. So that was definitely a big part of why I've done a lot of things. And also why I just won't. This is a very easy out. This bit is such an easy out for like the legs and like the groin area. And I don't want to take it, but I'm going to have to take it at some point. I've already taken it once. Oh, yep, nope, I've taken it just once. But just a little bit higher. But man, that would have been fine as flipping it upside down. That would have been a very good... That looks like a groin piece. Like, say, there. Like they look, it's very much shaped like those. And I've seen it. It was one of the first pieces that I clocked. I was like, well, that's a groin. And it's not. It's actually... Originally, it was the holder for the Havoc missile launcher. I think you've described whose line? A show that I've never watched. I do love when it's like, man, you know what would be really fun? And blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, that's just this thing. And I'm like, I've never seen that. I'm like, what? But yeah, so this was a Havoc launcher. If you played Chaos Space Marines, this was the shitty equivalent to a Hunter Killer that you got. That is not the equivalent in any way and has never been. But it costs the same amount of points. This was like a bit that's just like, if you want to know that the company that you're giving money to doesn't like you, here you go. Marco, I don't control it. It just comes on when the HVAC comes on. Just make my bong do the thing. She's just sitting on the other side of like my tool bench, staring. I know she's just staring directly at the pump that like sucks the water up out of the HVAC. She's just really gotten obsessed with it at this point where she'll just go and she'll sit there throughout the day and just like wait. She's just like, do it. But yeah, these, if you're like, hey, I want to scratch build things at home myself, that's what this came from. And I do very much like these bits. Girl, I put you in my lap. You sat up here. You worked on mechs with us for just a second, and then you left, and that was on you. And that'd be on you. But here you go. And that would be the Always Sunny when they go to try to buy guns. Gun, Always Sunny, gun fever, too hot. Very, very good episode. It's the one. My things. It's the one where Mac has a sword and Charlie has a gun, and they go to the school to try and. Mac is trying to prove that swords are way safer to carry around for protection than guns. And Charlie is pretty much proving that that's just insane. But also they're both insane because they're like, they go to a school and like try to keep the school safe, like outside the school. Hey buddy, we're not on school grounds. Pretty much robbing kids of their cell phones. Yeah, that's just me describing an episode of Always Sunny. If you're tuning in and you're like, man, Jesus Christ, that would be a fucking humorous but terrible stream. Like all I do, I just summarize episodes of Always Sunny. There's someone out there like that though, I'm sure. Like that's their whole thing. I'm not Duncan. I don't make coffee. Lies. I make coffee all the time. I'm about to make coffee. Man, okay. So we got these knees. These aren't knees. These are thighs, baby. The knees are down there. I think it's... Oh, I was trying not to have any... I want everything to look very... Not based on something from MechWarrior. I want them to be their own unique little look, so I don't want to go too far into matching certain aesthetics. But... Okay, so yeah, what if we didn't give a shit about proportions and we just... Yeah, no. Not doing that. Yeah, no, we won't be doing that though. Right about there-ish. Yeah, it needs to be... Unfortunately, I don't have a huge GW bits box to draw from for scratch building. It's fascinating to watch you kit bash like this. Thank you, Eric. I, unfortunately, have too big of a bits box. And it's from... For years being like, oh man, I need the bits. And now I hate it because I watch myself do it digitally, which is way worse, in my opinion. Buying a fuck ton of physical things, at least I physically have them and I can still, like, I could sell them if I wanted to. And fuck, at the same time, I say that, like, digital stuff, though, the things that I bought digitally were cheaper. They don't take up any space. And I can have as many of them as I want because they're files. It's difficult. I've absolutely like have exchanged like where my money went from like toys to like the ability to make whatever toys. But that's why I started doing this, I think, is kit bashing. I really truly I want this space, this channel to be a just showcase of how I do what I do and how other people can do it too. And while everyone does not have the giant bits box, like I didn't pick these bits. So that's really why I wanted to showcase this, is because like, while I did kind of had them organized, I didn't pick these. Like, so it's really, I want to show the, and this is not to derail, but like the best example of this, and like the number one like person that made me reevaluate this kind of like modeling and like hobbying is the Polysmith. If you are not following them, you should be. They They're the only person that can give Weirding Way a run for their money with mechs. I'll say it, and I mean that lovingly to both of those people, because they are very different types of mechs. They don't build the same kind of things. But yeah, I think, and I've not met the polysmith, but just looking at how they work, I can tell that they have a similar. What's going on up here is very similar to what I've talked at length to Isaac about, like how we build, because from the earliest days of like 28, I think we bonded over that, because our both of us, like the further that I get from printing and sculpting, the more this looks like my desk all the time. Like the more I just look at pieces, and I get really obsessed with like, oh, I needed that piece or that particular small thing. So I'll like, oh, cut little itty bitty pieces off and then use them for very minute things. Isaac also does that. And then you have the polysmith, which the polysmith is a completely very similar. I don't know if I would say it's very similar. There's something in there in the way that they build, that they think along the same lines, but there is a very hard stop at some point where I can identify, like, yeah, that's how my brain works. That's how Isaac's brain works. And then clearly there's something between the two of us that I love playing with organic bits so much. I love robots and stuff, but like nothing makes me happier than making an awful organic monstrosity. The polysmith, I don't even know if they see the fucking piece. I think they see all the shapes. Like I think they pick this up and see rectangle, circle, shape, square, triangle, cube, like cable. Like that's how fucking nuts their level of kit bash is. And as far as whether or not they might even be, I think they're still on Insta. But for the longest time, they just had a blog, and they have absolutely, I will say, their claim to fame. This is on me, my opinion. They are the first person to fucking take the Warhound Titan, the Forge World Warhound Titan, and I'll show you what I mean. Because I hate this, and I love that they did it. So yeah, this is a tangent, but I just kind of want to go off on it because I'm going to go off. I'm going to go off on my tangent. I don't think that they have gotten anywhere near as much credit as they need, because of the impact that they've had on the hobby. There's no way that the Polysmith has not impacted the designers for the Adeptus Mechanicus, like model range. Fact, they have, like, it's nuts the kind of shit that they've pulled off. But one of the things that they did that I really liked, because it has always bothered me, and no one has taken the time to do it. I was going to, but mine's still in the box, which is kind of upsetting now that I'm like, what the fuck do I even do? Because I'm still really struggling with how I feel about 40K and Warhammer, about GW's IPs, to be honest. I'm still trying to figure that out. But what I was getting at with this, a Warhound is extremely fucking front heavy. So front heavy, in fact, that there's no physical way that it would be able to walk. There is no way that where the point this is, that hole, that's where it is supposed to mount the legs, like back here, not in the middle, in the back. So much of this is going to be leaning forward, and it's wild, because not only is that like physically the model, I mean, it's just, I'm assuming they did it. There's a design aesthetic there they were trying to get, but it's too exaggerated. And now the model has gone from being very Mad Cat-esque, very Mad Cat-esque, which is very functional in my opinion. And same, this is the closest. So the closest to it is going to be this guy. But even then, there is just so much more Warhound hanging over the front than there is that guy. And I don't have any that I've not already changed where they were. But if you look up just a regular, fuck it, I'll just, yeah. So it is just a noticeable difference, and it changes it from being, I can't not see that it would not be able to support its own weight. Like that's just fucking absurd. There is no way that machine, that the weight of that alone, like would just, it's just crazy. Like, hopefully you guys can tell what I'm ranting and raving about. But yeah, it's just the placement of the actual like gear and where it's supposed to connect is just so wonky on a Warhound. And the first person that I am aware of that took the time to fix that is the Polysmith. And then they not only did that, but they made their Warhound is the sickest Warhound model out there, in my opinion. Very, 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 very biased, but I think it's a very fucking good opinion, in my opinion. It's the sickest. It's the sickest pose of anyone's Warhound out there. And I'm gonna rant about that and put this up though. And actually, this is not like too much because I feel like this is very much on brand of what I'm trying to convey with my rants and my ramblings is recognition, I guess, for people that I think need it in the hobby that don't get it. And I don't even think, I mean, they don't need it, or maybe they want it, maybe they don't want it. I don't know. I know that they keep things less high profile. They could be way more high profile, but I know they have a job that they enjoy. Last I checked, this is all based off of they have a blog, and I know that they are an engineer of some kind. They do a very, very, very good job on their blog showing how they did the legs of the Warhound, which is extremely I think awesome that they took the time to do that because I'm just gonna fucking put it on here. Just kidding, it's not Civitas Imperialis Administratum Sector. It's a Warhound Titan. As you do. Man, that's wild. I guess it's noticing the white on here, so it made my screen really dark. Here I am, baby. I'm back. So yeah, this is a Warhound Titan sent to me by the Brothers Wire. The feet, you can see I've gotten some parts of them put together. I had begun working on it to use with my Emperor's Children. And I printed out weapons for it. Yeah, like I was really excited. Like, I don't know where I am. So here's the legs. So here's the legs. Here's the waist. Yeah, it's just, man. Yeah, there is just no way. Like, even just holding it right here, all of the weight wants to go forward, and it doesn't even have the head on yet. I just wanted to show you, though, just the amount of pieces that this leg comes in to give you an idea. Same thing with the foot. I know all about this. yeah, so these tarsals, these little like mid connectors. I just wanted to showcase how those kind of go together, and then tell you to go just Google Polysmith Warhound, and get a look at how the Polysmith does Warhounds, because that's how they should be done. I've never thought for a moment that the Warhound looked like it could be a sleek, cunning machine, because it just looks like a fucking trash can on legs, in my opinion, because of I can't not think of where its base is and how it just couldn't move. But the Polysmiths, their Warhound, they took so much time, and they clearly, it's so good because I can see the frame in my head that it is from in Jurassic Park. They based it off of the running sequence of the Tyrannosaur in Jurassic Park, in the sequence when it's chasing the Jeep, when they're trying to get away from it. After they find Dr. Grant, or Dr. Malcolm. Ian Malcolm. Is he a doctor? I don't think he's a doctor. No, he's Dr. Malcolm. So yeah, anywho, he pretty much has like a little segment on the webs on his blog going into the how you need to position each part of the leg to achieve a natural lumbering gait, and it is the only Warhound I have ever seen that looks like it could move. Like, I believe it. Every bit of it. He nailed that so good. And that really is my rant here. All that is, you can make the best model, you can do the best paint job, you can do all these things, but if you don't sell it itself as a like believable thing, it doesn't have the same impact. Yeah, so I realize also this was just me kind of rambling and getting really excited about a whole bunch of stuff while a bunch of little pieces are on my desk, but I've enjoyed this morning, and I'm very much liking that. I'm thinking that's my knees. I think I just got to figure out a way to block it. That's why I've been more of a fan of Japanese style mechs. There's so much industrial design influences that make it more believable. Absolutely. That I don't have it here, but I'm sure, Eric, you are familiar with Calamity. I know I've talked about it, and I don't remember if it was you, if it was Possum or Chris or anyone else, because so many people love Calamity. But I cannot recommend the Abacan books enough. I only have the first one because it's hardback, and I'm a sucker for hardback. But his work and his design work on mechs, he is my absolute favorite. But that is the alarm. I've got to go make coffee. I'm going to clean this stuff up after I have my coffee. I'll probably have my coffee. Maybe try to figure out a little bit about these legs, clean this stuff up, and start working on the castle. Get some paint on there. But I think I made some progress. I at least had fun talking. That's for damn sure. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I will try to keep you all up to date on what's going on here and out at the castle. I'll try to hop into the Discord. I need to get that. I need to get more reliable on that. But I'm still also trying to work out the swing of things here. So, but thank you all so much. Take care. Sit pretty. Until next time, my friends.